The holiday season is just around the corner, and Thanksgiving is less than a week away. There are tons of Christmas movies like It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, White Christmas, A Christmas Story, Home Alone, Elf, the list goes on and on. But there aren't that many iconic Thanksgiving movies. And what other iconic Thanksgiving movie can you think of besides Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? In case you've never heard of it, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a film released in 1987, directed by John Hughes and starring Steve Martin and John Candy. The film revolves around a businessman named Neil Page who is trying to get home to Chicago to spend Thanksgiving with his wife and children. However, his flight is rerouted to a distant city in Kansas because of a freak snowstorm, and his sanity begins to fray. Worse yet, he is forced to bunk up with a talkative stranger who goes by the name of Del Griffith, who he finds excruciatingly annoying. Together, they must overcome the insanity of holiday travel to reach their intended destination. Beneath what many see as a standard comedy, there was an undercurrent of deep truths about humanity and our natures. Through social comparison, it highlights how many of us take our luck for granted and only see the negative aspects of our journey and lives, when really we need to give thanks and gratitude. It also teaches us how when we are traveling and strangers seem so distant, how if we got to know people, there are so many friends to find out there. It also teaches us how nobody is perfect. Del Griffith, with all of his flaws and bad habits, may appear to be a nuisance, but when you get to know him, he's a kind and gentle soul in a rough and brutal world. He's lost everything. He has no home, he's a widower to his beloved wife, and he has confidence and self-esteem issues, but he doesn't take his misfortunes out on other people. He is benevolent in nature and sticks to his morals and values, and there is a very strong, unbreakable character beneath his humble persona that has been through so much and is still smiling. In the car by himself, when it's snowing, he questions his self-worth, which is tragic and upsetting, as it shows that even though he's strong, there is a vulnerability in all of us, and he doesn't let bad times break his positive spirit and cheer. Del Griffith serves as the moral compass of the story, and he's like the guiding spirit of virtue embodied in an unlikely hero. In the case of Neil Page, he appears as the normal one upon first viewing, as his cynicism is relatable to us, but in actuality, he's more like the Grinch, and although he has everything a person could wish for, a beautiful wife and children, a lovely mansion, and a high-paying job, he is often grumpy, miserable, jaded, narcissistic, and selfish. He is slightly nihilistic and misanthropic and avoids people if and when possible. He looks all over the great stuff he has and only sees upward social comparisons. This highlights the workaholic, Wall Street type psychology of the 80s, and many of us working people in the West. I find it humbling how Neil, with all of his success and money, learns invaluable lessons from a homeless man. On the surface, Del Griffith is an imbecilic comedy character to many viewers, but deep down, he is so wise. He is almost sent down to help Neil, and the soothing vocals from the instrumental track of the song Power to Believe, which was used in the final act of the movie, create the imagery of a guiding spirit for Neil and their journey together that teaches him to appreciate what he has, which is the undercurrent of the movie.